Everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. Welcome to today's video. For those of you who don't know me, I have a Master's of Science in Human Nutrition, and I specialize in helping you to build a high-functioning metabolism based on eating in a way that creates that, aka a high carbohydrate, low fat diet. So today is going to be a quick video. I was asked to review Fully Raw Christina and her diet. So she just came out with a what I eat in a day based on protein, a high protein intake. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. She does include chronometer data with the video. So I'm really excited to give my take on Fully Raw Christina's diet. So just to give a little bit of backstory about Fully Raw Christina, she has been eating a plant-based vegan diet, a high carbohydrate, low fat diet for almost 20 years now. She's been vegan longer than I have, and she originally went vegan to reverse type 2 diabetes. She was dealing with hyperglycemia. So she originally adopted Doug Graham's diet, the 80-10-10 raw vegan diet. She is still raw vegan to this day, although it is questionable whether the supplements that she takes are in fact raw, as well as the nuts and seeds. But, you know, whatever makes you sleep better at night, right? Either way, she did reverse her condition with a high carbohydrate, low fat diet. That is what the 80-10-10 diet is all about, where about 80% of your calorie intake is coming from carbohydrates, 10% fat, 10% protein. So Christina is still doing a very similar diet, but recently her macros for fat and protein have changed. And really, I think it just has to do with her desiring a different aesthetic. Now, I am aware that Christina has participated in fasting in the past, including water fasting, intermittent fasting. So it's important to note that those kinds of things, fasting in general, does make your body more insulin resistant, but it's all in relation to what you have been doing, you know. So if you were to compare like Freely to Fully Raw Christina, they do have similar aesthetic results, but metabolically speaking, because Freely hasn't messed around with fasting as much, her insulin sensitivity is going to be better. Now, both of them, Fully Raw Christina and Freely, do consume more fats these days. And it's like what Harley Johnstone or Durian Rider always says. So when you get too lean, eating a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, aka your insulin sensitivity is so high that it makes you underweight, it's time to add the fats and the protein back in. So carbohydrates are a very catabolic nutrient, where it aids in our ability to burn body fat, and that is because fat burns in the flame of carbohydrate. And if you keep your diet low in fat, then you're going to force your body to utilize your body fat stores for energy generation. Because contrary to popular belief, we're never just burning carbs and we're never just burning fat. We're burning both at varying ratios depending on what we are doing. But glucose or carbohydrate drives the metabolic energy generation process called the TCA cycle, or the Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle, to turn glucose and fatty acid into ATP or energy. That ATP is our energy currency for our cells. So that cycle is started with glucose. So glucose is like your kindling. Fatty acids are like your logs. Okay, you gotta light those logs on fire with your kindling first to get it burning, right? And your metabolic rate is like the fire itself. So you want a strong metabolism, you got to put the carbs in so that you can burn the fat. Okay. And this all translates to insulin sensitivity as well. So as you become more insulin sensitive on a high carbohydrate, low fat diet, your ability to burn body fat becomes higher. Also, the fitter you are, the more fat you're going to burn as well because of your uptake of oxygen. Fatty acids need to be oxidized in order to be burned. Okay, so that requires oxygen. The more oxygen you can take in, the more fat you can burn. Now, Christina has a past as being an endurance athlete, and now she's focused more on strength training. So I'll see if I can show a little clip of that. We'll do it without the volume here. Okay. So her goal at the moment, which she goes over at the beginning of the video, is to put on more muscle and to be stronger. And I do get asked this question a lot. Victoria, how do I put on muscle and maintain like a lean figure? Okay, so Christina is a really good example of this. She is quite lean, but her focus right now is on building muscle. So first things first, you have to do the training, right? Second thing is if muscle gain is your goal and fat loss isn't, because you're already at a lean body weight, right? Then you can increase the protein in your diet as well as the fat to have more of a anabolic effect. So that is what Christina is going for right now. But she is still eating within a high carbohydrate, low fat diet. So we're going to take a look at her day of eating here with a higher protein intake. Now, oh my goodness. The last thing that I want to say before we get into the video is that the RDA for protein, the recommended dietary allowance for protein, is 46 grams a day, with the RDA for men being 56 grams a day. So 46 grams a day for women, 56 grams a day for men. So the amount of protein that Christina is consuming right now is above the RDA for women. And I generally recommend not going over 100 grams of protein because you risk stressing the kidneys out and running into issues related to excess protein consumption. And the other thing to note is that when you're upping your protein, if your carbohydrate calorie intake is insufficient, you're going to be converting that protein into glucose anyway. So you need to make sure that he's going to be a YouTube star. You need to make sure that you're consuming enough carbohydrate with an increased protein intake. And again, this is for people interested in building muscle where you want to increase your protein. If fat loss is the goal right now and building insulin sensitivity is the goal, then you are going to want to focus on more of an 80-10-10 macronutrient breakdown, or even a 95-5. You want the catabolic effect of the carbohydrates to take over versus focusing on having more fat and protein in your diet. And again, this is all based on individuals, and depending on what your goals are. When I work with my clients one-on-one, we can switch up macronutrient ratios depending on what it is that you need at present. So let's get into Christina's video. Okay, here we go.
For my first meal of the day or breakfast, I actually enjoyed 64 ounces of green juice. To be honest, it might have been a little bit more than that.
Okay, so 64 ounces of green juice is a gallon. Wow. For 420 calories, which is, quite low actually for a gallon of fluid. If this was fruit juice and not green juice, you would be looking at about double the calorie intake at least. And then she's getting 17.6 grams of protein just in a green juice, which is going to be very high in vegetable content.
And I made two recipes.
Okay, so we really don't need to go over the recipes here because she is like selling her, business. Okay, so this gets into the second juice.
You who've been following me along.
Okay, so her first juice was a gallon. Oh my goodness. So she's drinking a gallon and a half of green juice in the morning. Now, I don't think that most people could put down that volume in a day. I mean, I recommend consuming at least, 2 to 3 liters of water. And I think most people, that's a good goal. And because most people aren't drinking that much fluid, but a gallon and a half of green juice, that's a lot of liquid. That's a lot of volume. You can expect to be urinating a lot. She is getting quite a bit of protein. So there's 9.2 grams. So that's about, 26 grams of protein just from the green juice. This one is a little bit more calories. So it probably has more fruit in it at 528 calories. So that's about 1,000 calories of green juice for breakfast, which, I really recommend having some fiber there, just to help with, blood sugar regulation. If you're consuming that volume of juice, like generally I will consume 16 ounces of juice in the morning, maybe 32 ounces of juice, depending on my appetite. But I also add sugar to my juice, and then I'll have that until I get into my actual breakfast, which is going to be whole fruit. So my breakfast is typically half juice and then half whole fruit. So for example, today I had 16 ounces of orange juice with sugar mixed in, and then I also had about it was a decent punnet of blueberries. I'm gonna say probably 30 ounces of blueberries. So got the fiber in and got the sugars in, right? So those help to promote satiety, also help with blood sugar regulation. Also, really good source of nutrients. And in terms of cost, okay, my bottled orange juice, which would be considered heat processed according to Christina, so pasteurized juice is off the menu, probably costs $5 for the container. And then and I didn't drink $5 worth of juice. I drank a quarter of the container. Okay. And then the blueberries probably cost $4. So that's $9. Or no, it's probably a $6 breakfast, about $5 breakfast, something like that. The cost of this breakfast, I mean, just for me to make 16 ounces of green juice from home is going to cost at least $5. Probably more than that. If you buy this at the store, you are looking at $25 of juice, and that's on the low end. So she is growing a lot of her own food though, which is going to offset some of the costs. But is this realistic for most people to consume this much juice in a day? I don't think so. Most people struggle to just get that much water in. So, even though, she's meeting her protein goal with the green juice, and it is a low fat source, high nutrient density, it lacks fiber, and it also, the cost is going to be outrageous for the general public. Okay, so let's go to the next meal here.
For lunch, I always love to enjoy a giant smoothie bowl. I cannot go a day without my.
Okay, so she's got a smoothie bowl here. It looks good. 700 calories. So this girl knows how to eat. We got 1,000 calories worth of juice, a 700 calorie lunch. So that puts her at 1,700 calories already. And she's got almost 30 grams of protein in this smoothie bowl. Now, the amount of protein that she's consuming is not necessary because just between breakfast and lunch right now, she's meeting her general protein requirements. Okay, so we averaged about 26 grams of protein for breakfast, and now we're up to 28 grams of protein for lunch, and 28 plus 26 is 54. So she's already over the RDA. And I want to show here that she does add protein to this smoothie bowl. So if bulking is not your goal right now, and fat loss is your goal, and then you can ditch the protein. So maybe the smoothie recipe is appealing to you, which she doesn't share the recipe, even though it does look quite tasty, this smoothie bowl. Let's go back to it. It looks like it has some really good ingredients. There's like a star fruit there. This looks like some banana and orange. This combination is really tasty if you use frozen bananas. And then she's got some granola here. This is going to contribute protein, but it's also going to add some fat too. So you can ditch this, but this might look like some dried mulberries. That's a really good low-fat option to put on a smoothie bowl. You can add berries there too as a low-fat option, but this granola is definitely going to be like a fattier, more protein-rich option. But yeah, anyways, I mean, if you just replace this section with like berries and mulberries and maybe some raisins, this is a nice, healthy, low-fat, nutrient-dense lunch that would work to meet your health and weight loss goals and be good for your metabolism, because this is going to be a good kick of carbohydrates. So let's go to her next. It looks like she has a small bowl of berries. So I need to be writing the calories down. Okay. So we had about 1,000 calories for breakfast, 700 calories for lunch. We got 338 calories for her snack with 4.5 grams of protein. So 54, this puts her at 60, about 60 grams of protein. You know, we're at 58.5. Yeah, okay. So it looks like she's having rambutans here though. Yeah, so it's a snack of fruit, healthy snack. Like, I like the meal plan, but I would rather do fruit juice in the morning, a smaller volume, add some sugar, add a small fruit meal to go with that, then do a more calorie dense fruit meal for lunch, then have a snack of some more fruit, or here you could even do like some candies or sorbet or a popsicle or something. And now let's get into her dinner. Okay. Rainbow salad.
Featured recipes in my
Okay, so I love that she is just getting right to the point with this video, where I got this large bowl of salad and it's 532 calories with 30 grams of protein. So that is going to put her protein intake about 90 grams for the day. So we're at 88.5 grams of protein with, okay, 532 calories. So that is 6, 7, 8, 15, 2,500 calories. So this is going to be like a fattier, protein rich dressing. It probably has like avocado and nuts and seeds in it. And then I just want to show you guys, like, this bowl is extremely large. I mean, this is like the size bowl you're going to take to like a family gathering where like 20 people are going to eat from it, right? But just, I got to show Christina with this bowl of salad. Let's see here. Where's she at? Yeah.
how much protein
It's just enormous. Here we go. Let's go back a little bit more.
So cool when I get to see how much protein
it's just huge.
And for those
and she's right though. She's talking about like the amount of protein in plants. And you know, I think that her demonstration here is really great, showing that you can meet all your protein requirements with plants, and you can even exceed, because a lot of the plant-based bodybuilders are into eating more plant-based protein. So Christina is showing you how to do it on a raw vegan diet, which is pretty incredible. So here is her chronometer data. Again, I love how she's showing this, and it's not like a guessing game. She's at 2550 for calories, and her protein intake is 90 grams, and her fat intake is 40 grams. So this is a good, like, kind of bulking diet, but her macros are still, let me just take a look and do the math real quick on the macros. Okay, she's got, so 91 grams of protein translates to 364 calories divided by 2,550 is about 14% protein, and the fat intake is about 14% as well. So her macros are a little bit more on the side of, if you are trying to gain muscle, gain some weight, but still stay lean and healthy and insulin sensitive. So this is a really good example of a vegan diet, a raw vegan diet, where that is the goal. And clearly she is demonstrating that that is what she is going for as well. So we're also going to show the rest of her chronometer data, where she's, meeting all of her nutrient requirements here. And I think she's going to scroll down to her protein intake here. And she's in the red for everything. Yeah. So she's meeting all of her. She's actually exceeding quite a bit. Like, look at the percentages on the protein, how much she's exceeding it. So it gives you an idea that you don't need to aim to eat 90 grams of protein a day to meet your amino acid requirements for these essential amino acids. You can eat less than that and still meet your requirements. Now, the majority of her protein is coming from fruits, which a lot of people don't think contain protein, but they do. But to a lesser extent in terms of the amount of protein in greens, okay, per calorie, right? So greens are going to be higher in protein per calorie, where fruit is going to be higher in carbohydrates per calorie. But it just goes to show you that you can eat a fruit and vegetable based diet with the addition of, she shows plant fats like avocado. She did have Sun Warrior protein, and then she did have nuts and seeds in her dressing. And then there was some grains too in the smoothie bowl. So how raw is it? I'm not really sure. Predominantly, though, it is raw. But yeah, so I'd say healthy diet, high carb, low fat still, but the macros are more for being for an anabolic goal, like building muscle or putting on some healthy fat. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave any comments or questions down below. Let me know what you'd like me to feature next. I'm also going to be bringing Hadley on tomorrow. I'm going to do an interview with her, and then I'll be uploading it to the channel. So stay tuned for that. Remember, Hadley is in my coaching group, and she's had a lot of success with rebounding from metabolic damage and becoming healthy again post restriction. And now she's just killing it with the fitness. So let me just go ahead and pull her up really quick. See if it goes on. Where's the fire truck? So this is Hadley's YouTube channel. She also has an Instagram account, Hadley's High Carb Kitchen. So I highly suggest you guys to check out her channel, check out her videos. She talks about how to stay fit as a busy mom, why she went vegan, over exercising, and just kind of shares her journey with a high carb, low fat diet and recovering from restriction. So like I said, she'll be on my channel tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.